With Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. Welcome to Super Dwarf Sunday for February 5th, 2023. You're probably thinking, but you're not holding a Super Dwarf. No, I am not. I am holding my Brettles Python Boreth, only because we are about to bring all of our 15 dogs in from outside and feed them. And Boreth was roaming around one of our main dog kennel areas. He likes to climb on and through their kennels. So I had to move him so that we could bring the dogs in, and the dogs will be quiet while I actually film the Super Dwarf Sunday segment, which is going to feature both of our Super Dwarfs this week, Tau, Seti, and Ryder. So stand by for that in just a minute. We are going to start with Ryder. He's in his humid hide, which is good because he just shed or tried to shed. And unfortunately, because he insists on living in this open air tent, which he absolutely loves and actually never even asked to come out of because he just loves this tent so much. However, Colorado is not Southeast Asia, and Colorado is not islands north of Indonesia. And it's very dry here. So we have issues with him shedding. He does have a humid hide in his tent, and he has 2 water bowls. And then I keep substrate in this tank over here, wet and moist, but it still really isn't enough humidity. And he tends to not shed properly every time. And I usually have to help him once he gets started. I know I'm bugging you. So I'm probably going to end up setting up a room humidifier in here just for Ryder so that the room stays humid for him and he can remain in this tent, which he loves. But I thought what we would do, since he did just shed, he just has a few pieces left on him, that we would get a weight on him and perhaps try to measure him and see how long he is. And I'll give you an update to his age and his weight and length, and that will just kind of give you guys an idea of where he's at, maybe compared to your own Super Dwarf, or if you're considering getting one, it might help you make that decision. He is what I would say is very small, and I'll give you his locality and his percentages in just a second. Let me get this card off of his enclosure. So this is the card that comes with a Super Dwarf when you get one from Reach Out Reptiles. And it says that he is 75% Kalatoa and 12.5% Solaire. He is a Super Dwarf wild type. He was hatched on September 13th, 2021. So he is 1.5 years old. He'll be 2 years old, but not until this September. And so let's see how much he weighs and if we can determine about how long he is. All right, Ryder, I know you want to go in your tent and you love that tent, but we're going to see how much you weigh. And you're not going around my neck. I think that's dangerous no matter how big you are or small you are. Okay, here's the scale. And so I'm going to put Ryder on it and we will see what he currently weighs. And TC, you stay out of his way. TC, 360 grams, so 0.36 kilograms. Our vet weighs all the snakes in kilograms, so I have the scale set for kilograms, but that's 360 grams. So he was hatched in September of 2021, which makes him over 1 year old, about 1.5 years old, and he's 360 grams. So Let's try to see if we can figure out about how long he is. Okay, this dog kennel is 42 inches long, and this tank is 36 inches long. So I'm going to see if Ryder won't crawl along this space and lengthen himself out. He's crawling up instead of lengthways. Well, maybe I could just help him stretch out. So again, this glass tank is 36 inches long. So I have Ryder's tail at one end of the dog kennel. I know, Ryder, I know, am I traumatizing you? And his head, let's do this. Okay. I want you to climb lengthways, not up. Super dwarves love to climb up. He's longer than this tank, which is 3 feet. And I think he is maybe slightly longer than this dog kennel, which is 42 inches, but he is definitely less than 4 feet. Oh, let's see. Here we go. Okay. Ryder, not cooperating. All right. So he is more than 3 feet, and he's a little bit more than 42 inches, but he is not 4 feet yet because he's barely longer than this white table, which is 42 inches. So I'm going to say he is probably 3.5 feet long and 360 grams at, let's see, September, October, November, December, January, at just right under a 1.5 years old. And I have TC over here being nosy about everything that's going on. Don't worry, TC, I'm going to weigh you next, and we're going to check in with you next. Yeah, we'll check in with you next. See how it feels when somebody's intrusive into your space? You're always doing that to other snakes. So I thought I'd show you this. This is what I had Ryder in earlier when I was getting some of the stuck shed off. And this is a really small exercise tent. And what I do is I put cardboard in here that I can get wet so that he can play in here and climb around on his own without me forcing him. And the cardboard that I put in here, I just dampen. And then I put in warm, moist towels in here that he can crawl around on. And I put a big bowl of water in here and I let it overflow. So there's actually some standing water on the bottom of the exercise tent. And that way he can climb around and move around in this wet environment against some of these rough surfaces that are also damp on his own without me forcibly soaking him. And I don't leave him in here too long because, as you might imagine, this stuff doesn't stay warm forever. I have the room pretty warm. The ambient room temperature is 78 degrees. That's not for you, Galaxy. But I left him in here for a little while earlier, and then I got him back out, and most of the stuck shed came off. I also give them the opportunity to swim in the bathtub, but I don't force that. So if Galaxy, he doesn't appreciate that. So if they don't want to swim in the bathtub, it's not something that I force, but they have the opportunity to do that. So this Galaxy, he doesn't necessarily want you in his face. So anyway, this is how Ryder's looking. And I, again, really prefer the wild type coloration. And since this is the second time in a row I've had to help him shed, I am going to probably be setting up our room humidifier in his room near his tent. This is something that we use when the snakes have problems shedding, and it's just vegetable glycerin that my vet recommended. And you can rub that right onto the snake, and it keeps the skin moist, and you don't have to wipe it off or anything. It soaks in, and it helps eliminate any stuck shed that's left. And my vet said it's also safe to use on any stuck eye caps. Now, luckily, he has never had any stuck eye caps, and neither has TC. Usually, when these guys have trouble shedding, they get all of the shed off of their face and the first part of their neck, and then it's the rest of the body that they have issues with. So that was the case this time. Ryder started to shed, and he got all of the shed off of his face and neck, and then he had a bunch of stuck shed on his body, which I then set up this wet, marshy tent for him to spend some time in today, and then I rubbed some glycerin on him. And I will warn you that a little bit of glycerin goes a long way. Once you squeeze it out and it starts to warm up from your hands or from the animal or just from the ambient room temperature, a few drops of it really goes far. So that's Ryder's story right now. And next month, when you check in, I will let you know if I have a room humidifier that I have set up before for other snakes, and it works just fine. And so I think I'm going to set it on the table next to his tent and have to run that for him, since I don't think he's using his humidity box enough, and I don't think he's using his large water bowls and stuff enough. He loves to be super high in his tree, and he likes to sit on his rocks and on his log, and that's his very favorite place to be. But I think he's spending a lot of time there when he should be spending more time in his humid microclimates. So I'm going to have to set up a more humid room for him. Okay. So I'm going to let Ryder, oh, you know what? I want Ryder to go back into his humid hide, don't I? So, Ryder, I want you to go back into your humid hide, which is where I snatched you out of, because I think that's a great place for you to be. Spend as much time in there as you want. I'm going to put you back where I found you, and I'm going to now leave you alone. So his favorite place is up here, right under his, so I have a basking light and UVB bulbs literally in the ceiling fixture. And this tent is designed for outside use for plants, so it allows all that through. And his favorite place is up here to sit either on or between this log and that rock. And that's where I find him most of the time. So I do have a water bowl on this level for him. And then he's got his moss box here. And then he's got a huge water bowl on this level. And then I keep this tank and all of the substrate at the bottom moist. But I don't think it's enough humidity for him, as dry as it is here in Colorado. Okay, well, let's see how TC's doing as far as his weight. TC is 3 years, 8 months old. And he is... all right, hang on a second, you guys. He is 62.5% Kalatoa. So he's a little bit, I guess, less percentage of Super Dwarf than what Ryder is. Let's see what you weigh. And he just ate last night. Despite that, he still wanted out tonight. So he's got a meal in his belly. Oh my God, TC, are you over 1,000 grams now? 1.04 kilograms. So that is 1,000, a little over 1,000 grams, 1,004 grams. TC, last time I weighed him, he was 950 grams. You have gone over 1,000 grams. You're huge. So he's 3 years, 8 months old and just about 1,000 grams. Because like I said, he did eat yesterday. He ate multiple food items because we did some target training sessions. I believe he ate 2 rat pups and 3 medium mice. And probably would have eaten more, and probably would eat more if I offered it to him tonight. But he's fit and he's in really good body condition. So he doesn't need to eat anymore. We can try to estimate his length, and I would guess that he's under 5 feet, but over 4.5 feet. So let me look around and see what we have that we could let him crawl around and determine exactly how long we think maybe he is. Okay, this dog exercise pen is 4 feet by 4 feet. So we're gonna see if TC is longer than one side of this exercise pen, which I'm pretty sure he is. Okay. And this is an estimate. Obviously, I can't make him completely straighten out. All right, so his nose is at one end and his tail is hanging off the other end. So he is over 4 feet. Let me find something that's 5 feet and see if we can have him crawl, maybe crawl next to that and determine if he's over 5 feet or under 5 feet. You're a good boy. Okay, these enclosures are 5 feet long. No, I don't want you to go up. Look, can you crawl along this ledge? You've done it before. TC, try to crawl right here. Oh, TC. He's not cooperating. All right, this enclosure is 5 feet long. Oh, TC. Okay. Trying to measure a snake is not easy. And I know there's that online thing where you can put the snake next to something and take a picture of them. I never could figure out how to use that. Okay, what if I let you go? Will you hang on up there? I'm gonna let you go. No, I'm not really gonna let you go, but give it a try. Okay, his tail's at the left end. I think he is over 5 feet. Let me see if he'll wrap his head there. Okay, so there's his head basically at that end, and his tail's at the other. So yeah, he is just over 5 feet, I think. I think probably not quite 5.5 feet, but he's over 5 feet. All right. So there you have it. That's my scientific assessment of TC's current length and weight. So he is 1.04 kilograms, or just over 1,000 grams, and he is just over 5 feet long, or just over 60 inches long. And you can figure out what that is in centimeters, because that I can't do in my head. And so now I've got TC out and he's on the move, and I have to figure out where I'm going to put him so that he does not intrude into the space of my 2 Morelia Bredli that are out. So I'll figure out what to do with TC right now, and I will tell you. Until next time, please remember to always be kind and love your animals, and join us next month for the first Sunday of March for another episode of Super Dwarf Sunday, starring our wonderful Super Dwarf Reticulated pythons from Reach Out Reptiles, Tau Ceti, and Ryder.